And one has to ask, is it an error? Is it a mistake? Or is this malicious and wanton? The Trump administration has made fatal error after fatal error regarding our nuclear arsenal, classified information, personnel information. Take a look at this headline. Trump officials fired nuclear staff, not realizing that they oversee the country's weapon stockpile. Sources say that's right.
Hey, you? Ever wonder what would happen if the guy in charge of the big red button couldn't tell his nuclear experts from his paper pushers? Well, buckle up, Buttercup. Trump just went on a firing spree at the agency that manages our nukes.
Friday, they scrambled to try to hire back the people they fired because they didn't realize that this was the team that oversaw America's nuclear weapons. What happened this past week is the Trump officials fired hundreds of people at the National Nuclear Security Administration. The Trump administration officials fired more than 300 staffers Thursday night at the National Nuclear Security Administration.
Yep, you heard that right. Our grumpy Trumpy thought he was trimming the fat, but he might have just put us all on a nuclear diet. Yikes. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
This is the agency tasked with managing the nation's nuclear stockpile, and this was part of the broader energy department layoffs where they want to fire basically everybody in the agency. Now, you would think if you were making cuts and firing people, I don't know, maybe that would raise a red flag, Nuclear Security Administration. I mean, it should all raise a red flag, but maybe that one was like, are these people the people who oversee our nukes? If you believe this was mere negligence, that just means that you've also then said, Trump is this brilliant businessman and Elon Musk is so smart. These are the smartest people ever. Yet they fire the people who oversee the nukes?
Remember when you accidentally deleted that important work file? Well, our grumpy Trumpy just did something way worse. He went on a firing spree, and guess what? He axed the people keeping our nukes in check. Talk about a bad hair day for national security. Picture this. Orange turd, surrounded by his yes men, gleefully signing pink slips like their autographs. You're fired! And you're fired! Everybody's fired! Meanwhile, at the National Nuclear Security Administration, alarms are going off, and not the good kind. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a few paper pushers, right? Wrong. These weren't just any old government workers. These were the folks who make sure our nuclear weapons don't go boom when they're not supposed to. Oops! Some of these fired employees were the real deal, working on the ground at facilities where nuclear weapons are built. They were the ones keeping an eye on contractors and inspecting these weapons. You know, just making sure they don't accidentally blow up half the country? No biggie, right? But wait, there's more. Some of the axed workers were at NNSA headquarters, writing the rules and guidelines for contractors. Because who needs rules when it comes to nuclear weapons, am I right? Donnie Diapers probably thought he was just trimming the fat, but he ended up cutting into the muscle of our nuclear safety. And here's the kicker. Past incidents of compromised nuclear oversight have led to some pretty scary national security concerns. It's like leaving the keys to your house under the doormat and posting about it on social media. Hey adversaries, come on in and help yourselves to our nuclear vulnerabilities. Even Trump's buddies in Congress are starting to sweat. They're probably realizing that cost-cutting and nuclear weapons don't mix well. It's like trying to save money by buying discount parachutes. Not the best idea when you're about to jump out of a plane. Think Trump's nuclear whoopsie was bad? Well, strap in, because our orange turd just cranked the stupidity up to 11.
Trump administration lies, but their lie is it was less than 50 people, which I think we know to be false because they lie about everything. Some of the fired employees, including NNSA staff who are on the ground at facilities, you think that's what really happened, that it was just a mere mistake? What is it? Did they do it intentionally? Did they just fire everybody and not realize who these people were? So where nuclear weapons are built were pretty surprised when they got this news. You'd think there'd be some job security, that you wouldn't be fired overnight when you're the one overseeing the nuclear button.
How many government workers does it take to run a country? According to Trump, a lot fewer than you'd think. Let's see how that's working out, shall we? Turns out, Donnie Diapers decided to play a game of "you're fired" with the entire federal government, and boy, did he go all in. We're talking thousands of federal employees getting the boot faster than Trump can tweet, "Cov Fief." From climate scientists to cybersecurity experts, nobody was safe from the great government purge of 2025. But wait, it gets better. Remember those nuclear watchdogs we talked about earlier? Well, they weren't the only ones who got axed. The National Nuclear Security Administration, which sounds pretty important if you ask me, lost a whopping 1,800 staff members. That's like firing the entire cast of a Broadway show and expecting the janitor to put on a one-man performance of Hamilton. And get this, some of these fired folks were the ones keeping an eye on the contractors who build our nuke. You know, just the people making sure our atomic boom booms don't go boom when they're not supposed to. No biggie, right? But why stop there? Trump's cost-cutting rampage spread faster than a juicy rumor at a high school reunion. The CDC, Homeland Security, you name it, Trump slashed it. It's like he's trying to run the country with a skeleton crew, emphasis on skeleton. I mean, who needs disease control or Homeland Security anyway? It's not like we've had any global health crises or domestic threats lately, right? Now, you might be thinking, hey, at least Trump's saving us some cash. Well, hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because here's the kicker. Gutting the government might actually cost us way more in the long run. It's like trying to save money by not changing your car's oil. Sure, you save a few bucks now, but good luck when your engine explodes on the highway. And the cherry on top of this bureaucratic sundae? The Office of Personnel Management, that's government speak for the HR department, said Trump wants to cut up to 10% of the federal workforce. Because apparently, running the most powerful nation on earth is just like managing a failing casino. The fewer employees, the better. One nuclear safety specialist at the NNSA summed it up perfectly. The brain trust that was just terminated is insane. And folks, when a nuclear expert uses the word insane, it's probably time to start building that backyard bunker you've been putting off. Well, folks, it looks like our grumpy Trumpy's cost-cutting spree might just cost us our safety and sanity. Who knew firing a bunch of nuclear watchdogs could be bad for our health? Oh wait, everyone with a brain did. As Representative Jasmine Crockett put it, this orange turd's brilliant plan could make it impossible for our government to provide basic services. You know, trivial stuff like making sure our nukes don't go boom when we don't want them to. But hey, why worry about silly things like national security when we can run our government like a failed casino? Because that worked out so well the first time, right? One expert even called the situation frightening, given the current global security landscape. Gee, you think? Looks like we're all on this wild ride together, folks. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves, do we really want Donnie Diapers in charge of our nuclear arsenal again? I hear bunker real estate is looking pretty good right about now.